Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is Matt, and you're watching No Luck Trucking. So, we got loaded for our cross-country trip going to Washington. Pays $8,000 for this leg. That's total. I'm sure you guys can do the math. 35% of that is for Landstar. But anyways, part of the rate con that we agreed to in the terms was that we could not film on their property and we could not film the product. So, unfortunately, it was probably one of the cooler places we've ever picked up. And unfortunately, we can't, we couldn't show any of it. But that's how some of these pickups and deliveries are. But we got a call this afternoon, I think around 11:30, something like that, telling us that the product was ready. We're up in Carlisle, PA, so it took us about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get down there. They got us loaded super quick, got it all strapped down, got us out of there. Then we went to North Baltimore to get fueled up, and it was a mess. I don't think I've ever fueled at that particular one. We usually go to the other one in Baltimore, I guess south, and that one's equally a mess. But I think the north one was way worse. Traffic was backed out on the street just to get in, and then there was people sitting at the fuel pumps taking their breaks and stuff like that. Like there wasn't probably like 20 trucks behind trying to actually fuel. And then it's really tight and people park on both sides of the exit, so there's one lane to get out, and it takes you right to a stoplight. So it was a huge bottleneck, but the fuel was cheap, and we actually did manage to get in. We got into the pump that nobody wanted to go to because you had to go inside to pay, but Liz jumped out and got that going while I was washing the windshield and getting the pumps ready. And then yeah, we got fueled up. Took about 10 minutes or so once we actually got into the place, and then I took off driving. Drove my my clock down to like 2 hours, took a break. Liz cooked some burgers. She woke up to use the bathroom, and you know, we had some dinner. It was fantastic. So we have that 3-in-1. It's oven, air fryer, and microwave, so we can actually cook the burgers. I don't know if I'm going out the right way. It's probably not. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going the right way. Yeah, so we have to get across the country. This load's really not under a strict time limit, but we did tell them we were going to be there, I believe, Friday morning, and we did book a load coming back across the country, and that picks up in the afternoon on Friday, so we kind of have a soft deadline. We might even be able to get in and get this delivered quickly, like the night before. Just all depends on how fast or how slow we're gonna run this load. I'd like to be rested up because we do have to turn around and run across the country again. But that leg pays $8,000 as well. Of course, 35% goes to Landstar, so I'm sure you guys can do the math. Nets us to the truck paid out to us is going to be around 10,500-ish. It's going to be a little bit more than the math because some fuel surcharge is broken out, and we're going to spend probably in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,000 in fuel, I believe, just rough math. That's the safe math. Yeah, all right, lights are on. Sometimes these mountains get pretty dark. Yeah, so rough math, I don't really want to, I don't know. I don't really want to be that channel that kind of posts the paychecks and everything and is all about talking about the money, because I feel like some of that is disingenuous, where they kind of skip out on the weeks that are not as good, and I just don't want to be like that. I don't think that, gotta turn on the Jakes, coming in a little hot. I just don't feel like that's the way our channel needs to go, is talking about financials. I know everyone's dying to know in the comments, but I don't know, it's just kind of a trucking vlog, you know, free entertainment. It's fun to me to make the videos sometimes, and I just want to keep the channel fun, and I don't feel like just making it all about the pay and the weeks and things like that is what I want the channel to become. So that's what I have explained. Pay wise is probably going to be about the extent of what we discuss on the channel. All right, no trucks or buses in the left lane. That's us. Rider is in the middle lane, not moving. All right, now they're coming over. Yeah, so anyways, long rant over. This is probably, well, it's definitely going to be our best week at Landstar, but I think it's going to be better than any checks that we got at Prime. But the huge difference is we don't have to work very hard to get this money now, because the revenue seems to add up pretty quickly, depending on, you know, obviously where you're going and the types of load that you're taking. But in our experience so far, for the runs that we like to run and how we have been running, the revenue just stacks up so quick. Like I know for a fact that I have never seen an $8,000 revenue load at Prime, and I don't think that I've ever heard of anybody getting one like that either. So it's a whole different world for us now. That one, dry vans is so far, it's leagues better than what we were dealing with reefer, because reefer, you know, you have all of the weird appointment times that in the middle of the night, hardly any place will take you before like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And the big thing is if you show up early, you don't get unloaded early. You get turned away and kind of told to come back, you know, like an hour or 2 hours before your appointment time. Occasionally you can sneak in early. We have been taken like a day early in reefer when we misread the bills and showed up a day early, and they were like, yeah, we'll try to work you in. But so far our experience with dry van is almost every time that we have been early to a place to deliver, or even early to pick up, these people are like, yeah, come on down, we got it ready, you know, in and out quick. We haven't had to wait. I think the longest that we have waited was at a BJ's actual store, like a you know, storefront, customer facing, that's what I was trying to think of. But that wasn't even their fault either. We showed up 2 hours early and they got us out around our appointment time, and even that, it wasn't even that bad. That was a good day in reefer, waiting for your load to be ready, or to get loaded or unloaded. I love when people wake up and then try to race you down the hill. Fun stuff. Yeah, so far our experience with dry van has been amazing. I'm sure we're gonna run into the normal pitfalls, but right now it's been leagues better than refrigerated freight. And also the rates have been so much more than what we were getting at Prime. And not to say that the Prime was like the worst or anything. Like, we made a lot of money at the time, but now just this is on a different level altogether. And I'm sure the owner operator is going to laugh at what I'm saying, because they're on a whole different level compared to us, you know, with the rates that they're getting. But even just being at Landstar and just having that freedom of being on the load board has been great. It's exactly what we wanted. And we can put in filters like, you know, $3.50 a mile, so it won't show anything under that. And there are tons and tons of loads to choose from with that search filter as well. And then we'll do things like no stops, because you know, I don't really want to get into all the multi-stops unless it pays really well, or they're spaced out enough that we feel very confident that we're going to be able to make it to all of them. At one point we did have hazmat filtered out, but now that we have gotten our hard copy license with our hazmat endorsement, I think we have put hazmat back on the table, but we've never run a hazmat load, so it'll be interesting as our first one. Landstar has a whole department that walks you through everything, and might reach out to our buddy Johnson's Logic, maybe get some tips from him. He was a Prime driver that switched over to Landstar as well. I guess he had an issue with Prime, and they did not treat him like he had as many options available to him as well, and that's kind of what pushed us away from Prime. Is, you know, like nowadays there's so many driving jobs, especially for somebody with a clean record, with some experience. Like Liz and I have almost 3 years of experience, clean record, married couple, so like the premium is there, and Prime just didn't treat us like we have almost unlimited options, which, you know, we do. But so far, the booking loads in advance has worked out for us. We've gotten some really wild loads. We've only had a handful of like, I guess what you would consider standard loads, where it's just a normal pickup and drop off at some DC or whatever. Most of the loads that we've picked have been these like one-off odd job type deal. Pay has been really, really good, and it's just been really interesting to us just going to these different places. Like our very first load was picking up stuff from an aviation business that was closing down, and we went out to Corpus Christi on the base. So that was an experience, getting onto the base with a commercial vehicle. I've literally never done that before. Never even needed to do that before. I don't even think I've ever been to Corpus Christi in my life. Certainly not professionally. And then this load right here that we can't really talk about was the place to pick up was amazing. Just seeing all the cool things around there. And where we're going is going to be the same way. So we can't really talk about the specifics of the customer and the product and things like that, but it is going from Maryland to Washington, and then, like I said, our load coming back is Washington to Maryland. That one we should be able to talk about, just generalities. Is that even a word? We should be able to talk about that in the general sense of maybe what we're hauling, how heavy. Obviously, I've already talked about how much it's paying. But the big factor here is going to be if we hit any of the weather that's kind of out there in the forecast, possibly for snow. So if we run into any weather, it's not going to affect this first load that we're on right now. They'll take it anytime up until 6 days after you picked it up. But hopefully the weather doesn't push us back and we miss the connecting load coming back to the East Coast. We should be fine though. And I think we have enough extra time. Why am I catching up to this car so fast? Let's get the cruise control back on. Yeah, so shouldn't be an issue. We didn't really book it so tight that we can't make it. If we make it overall to our appointment on Friday, we'll have no problems picking up the next load. It's just if we get delayed with snow or like road closings or mountain pass closings or anything like that, it might jam us up a little bit, but I think we'll be good. Alright, probably gonna end it there. I have about excuse me, I have about 4 more hours that I'm gonna drive and then look for a spot for us to switch, or if I can find a spot, maybe take a quick nap. And then Liz is gonna start driving. Who is calling from Fayetteville? And hopefully we'll get down the miles. Yeah, I got a few more shifts, probably about 3.5 shifts total. Why the high beams? That wasn't very nice. All right, we are sitting in South Dakota. We just had to make an alternate plan because parts of Wyoming and 90 are closed. So there's no sense in driving straight to closed roads when we can take a little detour and hop up to 94, hopefully avoid it, or at least give us more of a fighting chance. So I think we're gonna do that. It doesn't add any more time. We're kind of at the split where you can either keep going on 90 or go up to 94. All right, so let's address a few things. Maybe some people don't understand this, or maybe some people take it for granted, but what you guys see on these YouTube videos is what I show you. So there's 30-second clips here, a few minutes here, and that's what I've curated on the videos. That's not our entire life. So people are getting these assumptions that they know exactly how we run or what we should be doing, or, you know, even that we're incompetent in some aspects because you saw a 30-second clip. Like somebody said that they were worried about me trying to back places. Like, I put in those clips to be funny because it was a kind of difficult backing and I wasn't intending to do it perfectly. But what I haven't shown is the 3 years that I have been backing. I've never had a backing that I've hit anything or that I could not get the trailer where it needed to go, which at the end of the day is the point of the job. You don't get paid more for getting it in one single shot. So I leave those things in just as entertainment so somebody can get a laugh. You know, I laugh at myself when I'm doing the backing. Even while I'm backing up, I'm like, you know, this is kind of silly. But I keep those stuff in because it's entertaining for people. If you want a perfect backing every single time, I mean, go watch some of the training channels that are teaching you how to do it. You know, that's just not me. I'm providing free entertainment, and it's worth exactly what you pay for it. Also, a lot of people were very concerned when I mentioned that we were booking ourselves out a week. Now we're doing long runs, so being booked out a week is 2 loads so far. Now we did have a few more in some instances, and I took a lot of people's constructive criticism and we backed it off a little bit. But right now, when I say we're booked out for a week, it usually means about 2 loads. like the one that we're about to take when we drop the load that we're on, and then the return leg. So a lot of people have made these crazy assumptions that we're booking 10, 15 loads, whatever, in the span of a week, but that's just not true. And you're making these assumptions because I did a brief overview of how we're running, just kind of filling in, being a vlog style or whatever you want to consider it, because I don't feel the need to put our entire plan on YouTube, because it's not necessary. That plan is for the two people that are driving the truck and paying the bills and running the business. Thirdly, like, a lot of people are telling us where we should take our truck and what company to go for, and there's a better percentage. Like, I get it, that's fine, and if you're happy at those places, I am glad for you, but we're where we want to be currently. Now, things could change. You know, we could get our own authority, we could go to a company that has a higher percent cut, but for right now, we didn't end up here by accident, and this is kind of where we want to be. So I don't know, I just don't get why everybody is so concerned with the money that we are making. And I haven't even put out our financials, so you guys don't even know what we're making. And again, that goes back to the wild assumptions that we must not be doing well because we're at Landstar. We're doing just fine. And realistically, we're not, I don't know, we're just out here, you know, and a lot of people will give us this long list of agents that you shouldn't work for, or telling us we shouldn't work for brokers or third-party logistics or anything of that sort. But we're kind of learning as we go. We're finding out what we like and what we don't like, and also what another driver doesn't like is not necessarily the same as what we have an issue with. So somebody gave me their list and I looked at it, and we have hauled at least one load for one of the carriers that was on the list, and we had no issues. So obviously something has happened with that person and that agent, and they have formed a bad relationship. But we are not going into this job looking for reasons not to take freight. And everyone is telling us that we're going to get burnt on brokers and third-party logistics, and that's fine. We understand that. It's part of the game. I fully expect that we're going to get some loads canceled on us at inopportune times, but we have plans. We have plans laid out. We have backup plans. We have backup plans for the backup plans. So when we go to these places that everyone's saying are dead ends and things like that, we already have booked the load out. So it's not a dead end. And then if the load that we're going to go pick up falls through, we have 3 other loads waiting that pay very close to what we're getting out of here at. So it's not like we're just fumbling around. Maybe I put that impression out when I was making the YouTube, but again, that's what I have curated. But I didn't put it out like that so that everyone would worry about us and try to come to our rescue. I just did that for entertainment, you know, just to show what's going on with our life. But give us a tiny shred of credit that we know what's best for our business and how we want to run. And all that to say is we definitely don't have all the answers, but we're learning as we're going, and both of us are planning these trips out, and we're finding the stuff that we like to run. We're finding what we don't like to run, and we're just taking this time to kind of learn what we want to run, learn what agents we like to deal with, what type of freight we like to run. It's all just learning, you know? Like, I don't know how effective just dropping a whole list of what you should and shouldn't do based off of someone else's experiences with Landstar. I don't know how that's going to help us, because like I said, we run completely different. So I just wanted to give a friendly reminder for all the people that are trying to read a ton into our life and in our business based on the 10 or 15 minutes of clips that I string together and curate to put out. So anyways, rant over. It is extremely windy right now, and we are pretty much empty, so this is a lot of fun. Just kind of get pushed around a little bit. But yeah, we did have to divert north. Hopefully we can get farther than we could on 90. I'm hoping for the best. If we do hit some weather, we might have to get with the agent on the next load and let them know pretty early that if we get delayed too long, we might not be able to pick up their load.
In 1 3/4 miles, take exit 280
But
on the right.
I think we have enough extra time on this, and yeah, I think we have about 14 hours extra. So as long as we don't get completely shut down to where the roads are closed and everyone has to wait, I think we should be fine. So from here, we're going to take a state route up to Minneapolis, and then we're going to take 94 across. Alright. I think I'm going to skip everyone the boring travel laps or just me driving down the road fighting the wind. And I'll probably pick up a little bit later when, I don't know, maybe when I take the 30. I'll update, we'll see how the weather conditions are. Just give a running update.
Take exit 218.
Alright. It's very, very hard to capture, but this rocking of the truck, that's the wind. It still is extremely windy. Yeah, so I spent the majority of my drive shift white knuckle gripping the steering wheel, steering into the wind. Pretty much, I think maybe an hour or two of my entire drive shift was good and clear, and I could, you know, get down the road. But the closer I got to Bismarck, the less and less I wanted to be on the road as it is. So we went over to this Flying J. It's like a, wow, it is probably, I don't know, probably the second worst that the truck's been shaken up. We were in Kansas during a tornado that was a little ways away, and the winds were crazy then, but it's moving the truck pretty easily. And it doesn't help that we are very, very light. We basically essentially could be completely empty, as light as this load is. So it doesn't bode well for strong winds. We're just getting pushed around the entire shift. So came over here, gonna take a nap for a little bit, see how the winds are, see if I feel like driving. I think I have about 2 hours of usable drive time left. And then if not, Liz will take over and do her shift, and basically got it down to 2 shifts left. And this is probably the hardest that we've ran in quite a while. This is a little closer to full team running than we have done. Most of the time we stick with super solo stuff, but man, the wind is crazy. Alright, so we're going to leave it off there. When I start driving later, or maybe when Liz starts driving, we'll do an update. Hopefully the wind dies down. But so far, the I-94 decision has been good. Way better of an idea than driving to a closed road. I-90 is definitely closed, so no sense in driving straight there when we know it's closed. At least on 94, as much as we're getting beat up, we have a chance of making it through. So. Alright, we are sitting here on exit 1. We just crossed over the Montana border, and about 10 or 15 miles ago we ran into snow on the ground. I have not seen any snow in the air yet. So I think the last time I was stopping, I think we were considering switching, I'm not sure, but we decided to take a nap and see if the wind died down a little bit. And it finally did, but it was very hard to nap because every time I got into good sleep, the truck and trailer would start rocking like it was going to tip over because the wind was pretty strong. But slept for a little while, probably about 3 hours or so, 3.5, something like that. And then when I got up, the wind had died down quite a bit, so I took off and ran I had 3 hours on my clock. I ran 2 and some change. So I think I put in about, let's see, probably about 700 miles today, which is what I was shooting for, because it's not quite possible. Man, I don't even know my own password. It's been a long day. It wasn't possible really with a speed governed truck before, so it's just interesting to see what I can do now. Yeah, so let me add these up together because I drove past midnight, so it puts it on another day. 1 second. 2, 3. Yeah, 716 miles, so not a bad day. I still had a little bit of time left, but once you get out in the middle of nowhere, there's really nowhere to stop. So I decided to pull into this Pilot that had some parking. We got to do a pre-trip without freezing. Well, Liz has to do a pre-trip without freezing because it is pretty cold. This lot, I guess, had some snow coverage, and as it's melted, now the temperature has dropped, so it's a big sheet of ice. So that was interesting getting in here, but not too bad. All right, so we have 2 drive shifts left. I tried to get as much driving in as I could today so that my last drive shift would be shorter. So I'm going to end this part
to highlighted route.
All right, I'm going to end this part here for now. We'll pick up probably tomorrow, and maybe for the delivery. Well, actually, we can't film where we're delivering or anything like that, so we'll pick up tomorrow on the last leg and probably end it there. All right, made it through Montana, through the panhandle of Idaho. No issues there. And then the second we hit Washington, we got pulled into the scale. Luckily, we didn't get an inspection this time. I think the last 3 times I've come through there and we got pulled in, they did a level 1 and a level 2 inspection. But I mean, all of our stuff's in order and legit, but it's just time that I don't want to waste. And if you get an officer that really wants to find something, I'm sure they could probably look into anybody's stuff and find some reason to question you harder. So, yeah, we're about 312 miles away. Probably gonna make a pit stop, get some hours back on 30-minute break, deliver the load, and we're gonna head straight to the next pickup. We were actually gonna call them to make sure the load's still good. It is a brokered load, it's not like direct freight. So we were going to make sure that everything was still good, and the agent actually reached out to us and told us that the load was going to be ready, that we could swing by any time and pick it up, which is awesome. So that answers the question of if the load's still good or not. And then, yeah, shout out to the person that said that we made the wrong move coming to Washington, that no freight comes out, not knowing that we were already booked on a return leg. But on the way here, we've had about 6 phone calls offering us loads. None of them paid less than $4 a mile. All of them were excellent backups if that load did fall through. So it was nice, and I answered all of them, and I told them, for whatever reason, they can see that we are going into Washington, but they can't see that we're booked out. So I've had a lot of agents and brokers call. One of them needed the freight moved so badly. He called me 3 times over the course of 2 days, and this last time he was like, hey, if your load falls through, we pretty much have an open checkbook, so tell us what it would take to get you to move this load, because at that point it would need to be a team load. And I told him, I think on the first or second call, that like, yeah, we are a team, but we don't run 24/7. That's not what we like to do. So he said he understood, but if we could get the load there on time, pretty much name your rate within reason. So I told him that I would let him know the second that we found out if the next load would cancel or not, and looks like it's still good. And that load paid really well as well, so I didn't want it to cancel, and everything was all set up, got us to where we want to go. But it was good having a ton of backups, and like I said, the loads were just, they were calling us. I didn't even have to inquire about any of them, and like I said, they paid really well, and all of them would be excellent backups, which is awesome. I guess being a team has its perks sometimes when you go into these areas with weird freight, because I did look at the loads available in the area, and there were not a lot, but we got this particular one booked out a week ago. So I guess there is a lot more freight coming out than I thought, and like I said, it was awesome to get some calls and basically be told that the checkbook was open for whatever we needed to run that particular load. But, and then all of them told me that they run stuff out of Washington all the time, and that to let them know when we're back in Washington. To which I told them, we try not to be in Washington during the winter. And yeah, everyone, all of them laughed and said, yeah, that's why we have such a hard time getting people to take the freight, which is understandable. I hate being in Seattle sitting around anyways. Trying to find parking in Seattle is pretty tough, especially late at night. The place that we're going to now actually does have overnight parking, but no facilities. So it would have been a good option to get there earlier, but when we fueled up, I just slept at the truck stop that we fueled up at. Got ready to go this morning. Well, I guess it was like 9 o'clock at night when I left out at 9:30. The days all blend together after a while. All right, so I don't think there's going to be anything interesting, just getting some miles in. Snow quality is going to be the last kind of worrisome area for us. It does snow and ice over pretty quickly, so if we get jammed up anywhere in this load, it's going to be there. So I'll probably pick up when we get close to Snoqualmie. I mean, it's an awesome drive. It's going to be in the dark, so you won't be able to see a ton of it, but amazing views, pretty interesting drive. I like it when it's not trying to kill you with snow and ice and bad weather, but you know, that's trucking, right? All right, so we got the last load delivered, and now we are picking up the return leg. Where did Liz go? Okay, she's opening the doors for us. All right. So, any of the doors?
Either door, he said.
Okay. Shouldn't be too bad. But...
Yeah. I think this is about as good a situation as you can get for having a blindside.
Yeah. Let's see what we can make happen.
I mean, it is pretty wide open back here, so.
Yeah. Does that look doable?
Yeah, that's good.
Alright.
I was just worried about there already being trucks here, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's looking good.
Alright.
Alright, so you might come a little bit close to the fence, or you might just clear it for this first door. Yeah, you're looking good so far. Angling good.
Alright.
Yeah, perfect.
Still good?
Yep. Yeah, you've got 5 foot between the fence.
What's that?
So I wonder if I'll need to slide the tandems. Maybe not.
Does that white line on the ground line me up?
Not accurate at all.
Okay. That's what I was aiming for.
Yeah, no, it's not anywhere close, but it's, cause I think, yeah, you need to be a little bit over to your left, I believe. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, this dude just ripped down this road like he was qualifying.
You might be alright where you're at.
Yeah, well, no, I've committed to straightening back up.
Okay. Yeah, I think you don't want to be super close to that white line.
Yeah,
It's
well,
for the middle, so.
I'm just shooting for the yellow line on the door.
Yeah. Looks good.
It's a little downhill, so I'm trying not to slam the truck into the dock.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be good.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be good.
I'm right on the yellow line.
Yeah, it looks like it's all lining up.
Oh, all right, well, found the dock.
Alright, we'll see if he says anything about needing the trailer to be up higher or something in terms of slide the tandems. That's what I was wondering about that, you know?
Oh, you want to just do it now?
You know what? This other one doesn't have its tandem slip though.
All right, yeah, we'll just see.
So, yeah, we'll see.
All right, cool. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up this video. We delivered the load that we couldn't really talk about. Got over to the other place, had to do a little bit of blindside backing, you know, no biggie. And for all the people that say that Liz never gets out and spots me, she was out spotting me. I was going to hop out and let her back in, but she was talking to the receiver. So we picked up that load, ran it down. We are east. What did I say?
The receiver. I was talking to the shipper.
Oh,
Sorry, I must have your phone.
I did.
You said she was talking to the receiver.
I don't
Did
even
you
know what I said.
videotape yourself backing?
I did.
Yeah, okay. I thought you did.
Yeah. All right, so we got the last load picked up. Had to do a little bit of blindside backing. And for those that say Liz never spots for me, she was out spotting because she had went in and talked to the shipper, and I was backing it in because we had to back it in off of the street, and it was getting a little bit busier than I wanted to kind of wait around. So while there was 2 docks to back into, I went ahead and backed it in there, and we took off, got that going. We are east of Seattle right now, and we scaled the load, and it was a little bit heavier than what it was advertised. So we called the agent, and they agreed to pay whatever we wanted to make it right, basically, within reason. So we told them to throw in an extra $1,200, and they were good with it. We actually got $1,450 on the Raycon, and we told them we would be waiting at the truck stop until they sent that over, and it showed up. So we are good with this load. So that just bumped up the rate per mile and the revenue. So this is going to be a little bit more than a $16,000 a week. Maybe in the next video we'll add everything up and subtract what we paid in fuel. But I think we're going to end it there. And we'll probably start filming on the way back to the East Coast on this one. It's probably going to be a lot more uneventful than the drive here, since we pretty much know that 90 is going to be closed for a certain stretch. So we're just going to take 94 across and probably drop down in Chicago and go across 80 and then drop down to 70, I believe. I'll have to double check all that, but until then, look at the mountains up here. It looks so cool, and then all the clouds are getting close by. All right, as always, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.